Hi, my name is Sara and I'm 18 years old, and Lars asked me to do this speech, and I didn't have much time actually, and I thought I'd just do it because I think a lot of the time we get caught up in the things that we do every day. We do our laundry, we talk to our friends, we call our mom, or we go for a walk. We have so many things to do and we forget to do what's important sometimes. And I thought that even if I didn't have a lot of time, I thought it was just good to just do things and do them without much thought behind it. And today we honor Denmark's Constitution Day, and I'm really happy about that. Lars gave me some bits of the Constitution, so I read some of it, and I was really interested by nature's role in our society. I think that humans are very self-centered sometimes. We think a lot about us, and that's a good thing because we have a lot of issues, and we're also very amazing. We're a very amazing species. We can think, we are conscious, we have a lot to give, and we have a lot to offer. But I think that we became from glorious and violent Vikings to the revolutionary age to democracy. And so each and every one of us have desires that we want, and we vote to have those desires. And sometimes they're quite personal and individualistic. And I think that's something that we could change. So the vast majority of contemporary constitutions explicitly state rules and laws for states and the rights of citizens, which is incredibly important. And I think not every state or civilization can get it right 100% of the time, but Denmark is one of the only ones that continues to update its citizenship, our laws, our rules, and to make sure everyone has freedom. However, in the case of nature, it has always been, under every current law system, nature is property. If nature is property, we have the right to destroy it. We have the right to do whatever we want with it. And I think that's a little sad sometimes. And I was actually talking to my 8-year-old cousin about this because I was writing and I was calling him and he was like, "You don't call me enough, you should talk to me more." I'm like, "I have so many things to do. I'm writing a speech about nature." He's like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, because no one really cares about nature that much." He's like, "Oh, I care about nature. I go play football." And I said, "That's not really caring about nature." He's like, "So are you gonna give rocks lawyers?" And I think it's kind of like that. In a lot of different countries, a lot of people have become advocates for nature. In New Zealand, someone became an advocate for a river. In I think Mexico, someone became an advocate for a canyon. No one speaks on behalf of those who can't speak. And I think it's very hard to recognize that it is living. And although we play our role in the cycle of life, I think we abuse it a lot of the time. And just because we take up so much space doesn't mean we always should. And so you would ask the question, why do we really need to adopt law structures in order to protect nature? I think whenever people talk about protecting nature, we talk about sustainable living a lot of the time. And everyone says, "Oh, it's not a problem, we can live sustainably." But do people live sustainably? Sometimes, but it's not convenient. If I have a plastic bottle and there isn't a recycling place convenient to me, I'm not gonna walk 1 hour to go there and do recycling. And Denmark is very, very fortunate to have recycling as elaborate and detailed as it does. I know that in London, no one recycles, barely any. And the people who do recycle are the people who can afford to recycle. It is not something that is convenient. It is not something that is done by, it's not intertwined with our life. We live a life apart from nature where we give and we don't take back. And I think we need to sacrifice a lot. So, but then I talked a little bit more with my uncle since he was in on the conversation. And he was talking about regulations. Doesn't this limit our freedoms? What happens when nature's rights, if we give them rights, conflict with human rights? At the end of the day, nature takes the win, because we would not be here without nature. And I think when I came here, I almost went through exposure therapy a little bit. There was so many bugs around, and it was very, not shocking, but there was a lot more than I'm used to at home, even though Lars says there's a lot less. To me, it was different. So now I'm getting used to their presence, and I'm getting used to not being scared of them, and I'm getting used to, oh, it's just there. It's not doing any harm to me. It's doing something good. And I really appreciate Lars's classes because they teach us things that people have said before, and people will keep saying, but the more you're reminded of it, the more you want to help, the more you're informed, the more, as a democracy, we want the same thing. If we all want to save ourselves and save nature, we are all going to vote for a system that is intertwined with nature. Thank you so much for listening to my speech.